Alright, January 11th, 2014. This is my 1929 Model A Ford Coupe. Took me 3 years to build it in Broomall, Pennsylvania. Engine's a 1957 292 Ford. It was out of a wagon. Guy just took it out and decided to put a 302 in it instead, so this has been sitting on the garage floor for about 7 years. And just cleaned it up, dressed it up, and got trips on there, 3 Holley 94s. It was pretty good. Transmission's a C4 out of a 67 Mustang. Yeah, it's got a John Mummert conversion on there, which is good because it's got an aluminum bell housing, and I could put any old Ford starter on there. I like that. If the starter goes bad, I could just pick it up anywhere. Body's from Colorado. What you're looking at is pretty much how it looked when I got it. I didn't do much of body work yet. As you can see, it's still got a pretty good hole in the roof. I'm going to fill that in this summer. And some metal bumping's got to happen. The trunk doesn't quite fit right. Until I can, the 1/4 panel's pretty twisted up, so once I get to that I'll be able to fit the trunk in and get it all latched up. Rear is an 8-inch out of a Maverick. Dashboard's original gas tank. I just cut out the centerpiece and put these gauges in there, flattened it out and smoothed it out, put these gauges in there, all Stuart Werner, and I got a moon tack down in the column. 40 Ford wheel, it's a 15-incher. Steering box is a reverse Corvair. Got a big shifter on there with the doorknob. Seats out of a 1996 Dodge Caravan. It's actually the middle seat. It fits in there pretty good. I just covered it up with a Mexican blanket and made some brackets with some 1/8-inch angle iron, so I can get the angle right, you know, so your knees aren't killing you when you're on the road for a long period of time. Gas tank's from Tanks Inc. I believe it's a 13-gallon, 14-gallon, something like that. It sits right up against the subframe rail, and then it's got 6 bolts onto the actual frame rail, and I made these brackets out of 1-inch square stock to attach to the body, so it's pretty stout and ain't going nowhere. All the fuel lines are braided nylon. The trunk is temporary, just so I could get it around. Like I said, I got this 1/4 panel's all twisted up, and when I fit the trunk, it's touching over there, and it just won't settle in correctly. So I got to move that. Then I'll be able to finish it up. Taillights are 62 Comet. Wheels are all Coker, or tires are all Coker. Wheels are 15-inch front and back. All wiring is Ron Francis. I highly recommend that if you're looking into wiring something from the, from scratch. Pretty straightforward stuff, and they're very, very helpful people. Gee, what else? The alternator was interesting. As you can see, it's pretty close to the frame rail. These Y blocks are relatively big for these frame rails. And I originally was going to put a generator in there, like one of those, 6-volt looking generators, and then it's really an alternator in there, but they're really expensive, and I wasn't sure how it was going to fit. So I got this John Mummert bracket, and I like it because it's real close to the engine. It doesn't really stretch that alternator too far away. And, every other bracket out there seems to do that. But this one's nice and tight, and it's, cast aluminum. It looks good. So that was a lifesaver there. Usually Y-block people are all interested in how the steering setup is. It's pretty tight. I mean, I don't have much of exhaust here, but as you can see, that box is pretty close to that header pipe. But here's another interesting thing. I got a Ford Walker radiator on this. Jack Daniels, gotta have that. And as you can see, that inlet, or outlet, more or less, is relatively close to that inlet to the water pump. And I had a bitch of a time trying to find a pipe for it, or a tube for it. And what I ended up doing is I got a bunch of pieces from a friend of mine. He's got a bunch of leftovers from a International Harvester. And the top piece is actually a split piece from that. And then I went to Pep Boys and I just, rummaged through their rack of radiator hoses and found this tight, kick up. And I just got a little, copper pipe from McMaster car and connected the two. And it's okay for now. I mean, it's, not the prettiest thing in the world. I may paint it black so it's a little less obvious. But, simple problems like that you get to fix and learn a few things in the process. Pertronix ignition, pretty much standard stuff. Runs pretty good. I'll get a shot of it running.